Hello beadlings, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make candy Christmas ornaments. I know this is coming a little late and it's also been a while since my last tutorial, but better late than never, right? So I did not look up any other tutorials for how to make these, but I have seen them around before, and I do know that there are like Native American beading techniques that generally go into these that I don't want to detract from. So this is just me at the top of the video saying, I figured out how to do these on my own, but that does not mean that I personally invented like this technique or this style of ornament making. As you can see here, there's like a couple different sizes of ornament ball. There's these little teeny tiny ones. There's these more medium ones, and there's this big honkin' mama jama. I will tell you right off the bat, the big honkin' mama jama is the best for if you want it to be full of things. Like you can see there's some base head beads in there along with the pony beads. The top opening is pretty big and I had no problem fitting anything inside of here, but for the little one and the medium one, the top opening is significantly smaller, and so really I could only get pony beads in there for the small one, and the medium ones I could fit some like specific base head beads in there, but they were all kind of the skinny ones. So for your own ornament making, keep that in mind. I'm going to go through and show you on one of the small ones just the basic technique of how to make the covering, and then I will show you the medium one and the large one, like what the differences are, so that you should be able to just adapt the technique I'm showing you to cover any ornament, theoretically, as long as it's round. For those of you who want to skip the announcements and go straight to the tutorial, the timestamp is right here. And for everybody else, here's the announcements. Hello, it's good to be back. I've been on kind of a hiatus for a couple of months, which you've probably noticed. It's an unintentional hiatus. It was not planned. Life just got super crazy. So I am now working full-time for Base Head Beads, which is also why Base Head Beads are going to be part of this tutorial. I have easy access to a lot of them, and I think they're fun and they kind of like spice up the ornaments. But generally speaking, it's a super good job. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. It's just taking up a lot more of my time than I thought it was going to. So I appreciate your patience sticking around, everybody who has stuck around in the Patreon, everybody who has stuck around as a subscriber. You're awesome and I love you. Announcement number 2, I am doing the editing on these videos now, so it may be a little less smooth and exciting than you previously remember. My partner Guy was doing all of the video editing for me on like all of my tutorials for the past 2 years, and they are a professional at that. They like went to school for it. I did not, so we'll see how this goes. Announcement number 3, my Etsy shop is back open. I had it closed for a while and I kind of quietly reopened it, and so now I am not so quietly reopening it. I'm letting you know. If you do want to get Christmas presents for people, do that quick, because USPS shipping is always crazy at the end of the year, and like it takes 2 weeks for anything to get anywhere. But I will do my best to like make orders and send them out as fast as I can. So there's that. And finally, this was not voted on by my patrons. This was just me realizing, oh my god, it's almost Christmas, I should do this, the thing that I've been thinking about doing for months. And finally doing it. I will be making the tutorial that the patrons voted on, which is going to be a UFO cuff, and I'm going to do my best to also try and get that out this month. Fingers crossed. And with that, here's the tutorial. Here are the supplies that you're going to need for this project. So we've got pony beads. I've got a couple different colors here. Doesn't really matter how many colors you do, but I do recommend at least 2, just for like ease of following along. You've got ornament blanks. Oh my god, I can't talk today. So I've got a small ornament blank and a large ornament blank here. I got these from Michael's. They were like 50 cents each. But you can also just use like ornaments that you have lying around. Maybe use ones that are not super breakable, like use plastic ones, because like you might drop them. Whatever, just, you know, makes it a little easier if you don't have to worry about it shattering everywhere. But they don't have to be clear if you're not like putting anything in them. It's totally up to you. I'm just using the clear ones because they were cheap. You've got string. So this is 1.2 millimeter cloth covered stretch cord. It's my favorite. I use it for everything. I do think having stretchy string for this process makes it a little easier. But you can use fishing line, you can use yarn. It doesn't really matter what you use as long as it can fit through the holes in your beads and tie off at the end. plastic yarn needle. This does make it a lot easier. It's not 100% necessary. You probably could do it without it, but it wouldn't be as fun. So I do recommend using one of these. I get this off Amazon. You can get them at craft stores, Joann's, Michael's, whatever. You just want to look for a yarn needle. Scissors, of course. This is one of those little like cell phone charm thingies. You can also use a paper clip. This is, you clip this to the ornament at the end and use it to like hang on your Christmas tree. I always grew up using paper clips, and then I went to go get the supplies together for this video and realized I don't have any paper clips in my house. Because why would I at this point? Like, what do I need to be paper clipping? So I'm using this instead, but you can totally just use a paper clip. And then of course, base head beads, or whatever decorative beads you want to use. But like I said before, I have about a gazillion of these lying around, and they are festive and properly themed. So I figured, why the heck not? So this is what we're going to be using for the tutorial today. I'm going to show you on the small ornament first, like I said before, just the basic, like how to make the covering, and then we'll get a little bit fancy with the bigger ornament. Okay, so first things first, you're going to cut off a length of string. I cut off about 5 feet, which is probably going to be too long, but better too long than too short for this. We are going to start by making a ring of beads that is the right size to fit right around the top of here. Now for this small ornament, that is 12 beads long. Put my needle on the end of the string just with one granny knot, and we're going to add 12 beads, and I'm going to do it in an alternating pattern of 2 red, 1 green. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna untie the needle. That's why we just did one little granny knot, and tie this off like the world's tiniest Kandi single. Tie it tight, and we will do a triple knot to keep that in place, just like usual. The construction on this, if you're familiar with X-base cuffs or Kandi mushrooms, is going to be extremely familiar. And then there's a long end and a short end. We're going to cut off the short end and leave the long end. So you've got a little circle of beads, which, if you take a look here, fits just like that on top. We're going to take the long end of the string, we're going to tie it back onto the Kandi needle, and I'm going to use a double knot this time so that it does not come undone until I want it to. Okay, now I'm going to just run the string through a couple of beads until it is coming out of a green bead here. And now I'm going to add 5 beads and go back into the next green bead over to the right. So my string is coming out, going to the right, we're adding beads and continuing going to the right. I'm going to add, for this particular pattern, I'm going to do 2 green, 1, 2, 1 red, and 2 more green, just like that. And into that next green over, pull it tight so we've got a little spike there. And now I'm going to do it again, and this has 4 sides, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 spikes of green with a little red tip. I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so we are about to add the last green spike, and when I add this spike, I'm going to go into that first green bead that we started building spikes out of, and then I am also going to go up this first green spike, so this bead, this bead, this bead, and out the tip. So going through all the green beads and the red bead, just like that, and then pull it tight. All right, so now we've got this little square pattern here, and I'm going to do it again, but now we're coming out of the red beads, so I'm going to add red beads and go back into the red bead, and see how they are wider apart. Like these are 5 beads apart. These ones are going to be 7 beads apart, so I'm going to add 3 red, 1 green, 3 red. There we go. And that is why we use plastic bulbs instead of glass ones that are breakable. I'm going to move this out of the way. And we'll go into that one. Pull it tight. And just like that. You can kind of mess with it, get it a little pointier, but we're going to do that all the way around the square. So 1, 2, 3 more times, and I'll see you back here. Okay, we are back around to the beginning. I've added the beads to the string, and we are, once again, we're going to go into this first corner bead here that we started with, and we're going to go up that arm and out the green bead. Just like that. So those are the beads that we're going through. And we pull it tight just like that. For the string tension, you want to keep it about the same tension as if you were doing an X-base cuff. It doesn't need to be super, super, super tight. It can be a little bit floppy, but just remember it's going to be like covering an ornament. So it does need to have some bend to it. It does need to have some stretch still left in it. All right, we have finished. Let me flip back around. We have finished that corner, and now we are going on to the next one. So once again, we're now connecting the greens, and they are even farther apart. So we're going to add 9 beads. So it's going to be 4 green, 1 red, 4 green. And then go into this bead here, just like that. So now we've got 9 beads. And you guessed it, we'll do it again, 1, 2, 3 more times, and come back around to here. Okay, we are on the last one, and you guessed it, we're going to go through that first green one and up the arm and out the red. So we'll go through that green, and then up through the arm, and out the red. So we're coming out of that point. There you go. And now we're actually going to do one more layer of 9, because this is going to be about halfway down the ornament. It's curving. So we'll do one more layer of 9. We'll do 4 red beads, 1 green, 4 red, and into this next red bead over here. And after this layer, we're actually going to put it on top of our ornament and continue working it down, but while it is on the ornament. So first we'll do this layer of 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's coming out of a red bead. We'll go into the next red bead over. There we go. And yeah, you see it really starts to curve when you pull that one tight. And we'll do it 3 more times, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are back at the beginning, and we're going to just go into this red bead, and then once again, up the arm and out the green. So red bead, and then up the arm. Okay. And out the green. All right, so now we have this kind of like circular cover here. We're going to grab our ornament, and we're going to put the top of the ornament through this little hole here. I will say I'm not putting extra beads in here purely because I don't want there to be a bunch of rattling noises while I'm trying to talk and like tell you what we're doing. But if you do want to put anything inside of the ornament, do that before you put it on here. So we are now adding the cover just like that. See, we've got this middle bit sticking up out of the hole, and it covers just past halfway down. This part is a little bit tricky. You kind of have to hold the covering on the ornament while you add this next row, because what we're now doing is we are decreasing. So we just did 2 rows of 9. We are now going to do a row of 7. So 3 green, 1 red, 3 green, and we're going to kind of just hold everything in place. Got my finger here over the loose string, got my hand here over the rest of it, and just kind of grip it while we add this next layer. So 1, 2, 3 green, 1 red, and 1, 2, 3 more green. And we are still going this way, so we'll find the next green over this way, and just like that. Tie it tight, and then we'll kind of shift over crab-like and do the same thing again. 1, 2, 3, and 1 red, 1, 2, 3 for 7 beads, and over into the next green, just like that. Aha. Okay, and then we'll do it again, kind of hold everything in place while we shift over. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, and a red, and 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. One more here. This is, you can see this is the part that the needle is really coming in handy for. Pull it tight, and then last one, and these are now, because I've been pulling them tight, they should be enough if I don't do anything very like drastic or violent to just kind of hold it in place as is, so I don't have to be quite as paranoid about holding everything down with that one hand. But we'll do the last one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and since this is the last one, we're going to be going back into that first green and then up the arm and out the red. And you will notice I do keep my finger on this loose string until it is pulled all the way through, just in case of any mishaps. But that shows you it's going through that first green and then out and out the red. There we go. Perfect. So now you don't have to hold it in place anymore because it should just naturally be staying tight. But if you want to be extra cautious, you definitely can. No one's stopping you. We just did a layer of 7, so now we're going to do a layer of 5. 1, 2 red, 1 green, and 2 more red. Just like that. And coming out of the red bead here, we're going to go into the next red bead over, just like that. Perfect. And then we'll repeat that 3 more times. One. And 2. And 3. So this is the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And once again, we go into the red, up the arm, out the green. Just like that. Perfect. So now technically this is fine. You can just leave it at this. You can tie it off. It is steady enough, stable enough to just like stay on your ornament like this. But if you want it to just be like a permanent cover that you cannot take off or put back on. Oh yeah, let me actually clarify that real quick. If you are using stretchy string and it is not stretched too tight, if you leave this opening, you can like remove the cover and put it back on. If you add this next layer, you won't be able to remove it and put it back on, like it'll just be part of the ornament. So there's that. I am going to show you this next layer just in case that's what you want to do, but you have the option. This next layer is very simply, you just add one red bead between each of the green beads. So we go red, boop, and into the green, then pull it tight, add a red, into the green, and pull it tight. And you can see what pulling tight does is it squinches them together. Add a red, go into the green, pull it tight, and last red. We are going into that first green there. Boop. And pull it tight. So now what we have at the bottom is this kind of like square star geometric kind of shape. And that keeps it secure. That keeps it tight. That makes it stay on the bottom. And we're just going to tie a triple knot, same way we tie off everything else. Go loop under the string and through. So you've got this little knot right here, and we do that 2 more times. Loop under and through, and 1 more time. We're going to loop under and through. Just like that. If you want to be really, really extra secure, you can put a little glob of glue, little glob of glue, little glob of glue. You can put a little glob of glue, a little glob of nail polish, whatever you want on that knot, and that'll just keep it really secure. But that is how you do a Kandi ornament cover. Now you can't see I have a bunch of string left, so of that 5 feet, probably 2 feet was not necessary for the small ornament, but I will just repurpose this and use it to make more like Kandi singles or whatever. It's totally fine. And this is the part where the little clippy thing comes in handy. If you have a paper clip, you just have to bend it out of shape, but these things have a little hook on them, so you just take the little clippy part and swoop, clippy it on there, and now you have an ornament. And you just loop this part over your tree branch. They are pretty heavy. Pony beads are pretty heavy, and if you put more pony beads in them, they will be even heavier still, so be aware of that. So that was the small ornament cover. Now we're going to do the big one. Here's the size difference, just so that you can see them next to each other. Unfortunately, because these were the cheap ones, they are not marked anywhere as to how big they actually are. So here's my best guesses as to how big these ornaments are. As best as I can tell, the little ones are 2 inches tall, the big ones are 4 inches tall, and the medium ones are 3 inches tall. So hopefully that's helpful. Now you will see just from looking at the bottoms here that the construction for each size is a little bit different when it comes to tying it off. Here's the small one that I just did, where you end off with 4 beads between each corner after doing a row of 5. Here's the medium-sized one, where you end off with 1 bead in each corner, same type of thing, but I did this after a row of 9. And here's the big one, which I tied off in a totally different way. It was 3 beads between each corner after a row of 5. So what I'm going to do, just for simplicity's sake, so I don't have to go through every single possible combination of beads here, is in the description of this, I will put just a quick little written pattern for each of these, showing, you know, row 1 is 12 beads, row 2, 5 beads each, row 3, 7 beads each, etc., etc. So you can just read it and you don't have to sit through like 3 hours of me doing slight variations on the same pattern. But there is one last thing I want to show you with the big ornaments, and that is adding specialty beads to the outside to like really kind of zhuzh it up. So here we go. When you are planning out where to add your ornamental beads, you want to think about what people are going to be seeing when they are looking at ornaments. They probably will not be looking from the top down. So the first like 2 rows, don't worry about adding any specialty beads. Same with anything from like here down. So this area is kind of the sweet spot, and that's going to be the middle, like 1, 2, 3, 4 or so rows of beads. All right, so once again, I am not putting anything inside of this ornament, purely because I want you to be able to hear what I'm saying and not be just constantly like click clack of beads while I move this around while I make the thing. But if you were going to put them in, you were going to put beads inside of this thing, or you're going to put anything inside of this thing, do it now before you start making the cover. This thing just like pops right off, and you can stuff beads inside and pop it back on. So there's that. As previously mentioned, the top of this is bigger than the top of the other two, so we are going to start with 15 beads around instead of 12. And I am going to be making this ornament for myself, so it's going to be kind of like Plur Alien Rave themed instead of like Christmas colors. I'm going to go a little bit faster through this one and maybe not show as much detail as I did on the other one, because the instructions are like written down below. The little pattern is down there, so you can just refer back to that if you get lost on the bead counts. But I am going to do the first 2 layers, so 1 row of 15 and then 5 beads coming off of each, and just get those out of the way. For reference, it is this part here that's all white and looks like a star. I'm going to just get that all done first things first, because we're not adding any decorative beads to that part, and then we will start on the next bit together. 15 beads just like before, tied off in a circle, string coming out of one of the points. Add 5 beads between each point, go all the way around the circle, come up out through the point. Exactly the same as the last one, except it's 5 points instead of 4. All right, so now we've got this star. There's an inner layer, there's an outer layer, and that is literally just the first part of the top. So now we're going to go into this next row, and on this next row I think I'm going to add 1 of these specialty beads. So the next row is 7 beads, so this was your row of 15, and then 5, and then we're doing 7. I am not going to add a specialty bead on this first row of 7, and I am also not going to add it on this last row of 7, because the holes on these are a little bit smaller than the holes on these, and I don't feel like fighting my way through trying to run my thick string through this same hole twice. So by not putting it on this first row and not putting it on this last row, it means that when I finish this row and I go on to the next one, I'm not going to have to deal with running string through another one of these beads. So 7 beads, and I'm going to now do a layer of mostly green, and the point is going to be black. So 3 green, 1, 2, 3, 1 black, and 3 more green, 1, 2, 3, just like that. Okay, perfect. And now on this next spot is where I'm going to add my specialty bead. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bead, let's do a peace sign. I'm going to take the bead and I'm going to compare it and see, okay, it's about as thick as 2 of these green beads. So I'm going to substitute it in for 2 green beads. So instead of doing 3 green, 1 black, 3 green, I'm going to do 3 green, 1, 2, 3, 1 black. I'm going to take the needle off the string and sit there for a sec, and making sure it is facing the right way that I want it to sit on the ornament, which is like that. Add in my peace sign bead and 1 more green bead. So that is what you end up with, and it is about the same size, like it's approximately equal, so when it sits, it'll just sit like that. Now we'll tie our yarn needle back on, and I'll just use a granny knot for this since I'll be taking it off and on a whole lot to add these beads. Boop. Okay, and then just go in that next bead over there like normal and pull it tight. And so now you've got your peace sign on there. I think I'm going to add 1 more peace sign on this row, so I'll skip this one and I'll put a peace sign on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my other peace sign. Boop. Just like that. And then we will do the last row here. So one more row of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just like before, we'll go through the point and out through the point. Just like that. Perfect. So now we're going to do the next row, and the last row was 7, so this next row is going to be 9. And once again, I'm not going to add any specialty beads on this first row here. Our peace signs are here and here, so we are going to put our plur, our little plur beads. We'll put it on this one, and we'll put it on this one. Like I said, we're doing rows of 9, and I am switching it back. Oop, shaky, shaky. And I'm switching it back, so this is going to be a row of mostly black with green tips, because the last row was mostly green with black tips. Looking at our plur bead, we can see it is about the same size as 3 beads. So remember that when we're substituting out, we're going to sub it out for 3 beads. And I'm also rethinking, I think I am going to put a plur bead over here. I'll just put it on this side of the arm, so it sits kind of like diagonal from the peace sign. So we've got that there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 black, 1 green, and then 1 black and 1 plur bead. So that was the equivalent of 4 beads there. And we're going to repeat that on this one. So we'll do 4 black, 1 green, 4 black here, and then we will do 4 black, 1 green, 1 black, 1 plur here, and then 4 black, 1 green, 4 black here. And that's how we sub them out. Okay, so we got that plur there, and we're just adding our last row. Same as before, 9 beads through the point, up the arm, out the point, just like that. Boom. Next row is going to be 11 beads. We're going to do 2 layers of 11 beads, and then we will start going back down with the 9 beads and the 9 beads. So this row, we're going to do the little rock and roll Glover beads. And you will see these ones are approximately 2 beads wide. So we'll use them to replace out 2 beads. We'll do this row alternating, so we'll do mostly green with a black tip. And 11 beads means 5 green, 1 black, 5 green, just like that. Now I'm going to add a glove bead to this next row here. So I want it to be kind of sitting diagonal to the plur. So I'm going to add 5 green beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 black bead. Now the glove beads are equal to 2 beads, so I'll do 1 green bead, and then I will add my glove bead. And make sure it's sitting upright, and then add 1 more green bead. And then go through the next green point. Just like that. Boop. And then you get the idea. We'll do it again. I'm going to finish off this row, and I will meet you back here. Just kidding, I'm back really fast because I embarrassingly somehow mixed up the numbers 4 and 5. So what you actually do is 5 green beads, 1 black bead, 1 green bead, the glove, which represents 2 beads, and then 2 green beads for a total of 5. I was like, why does that look so weird? And it's because I can't do math, famously. Anyway, yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so we are done with this row. I finished it off camera because essentially it is just more of the same that I've already showed you. But we just finished 1 row of 11. We are going to do 1 more row of 11, which is where I'm going to add the little alien head beads. And then after that row of 11, we will add it to our actual ornament and start working our way back downwards, 9, 7, 5, etc., to close off the ornament. So we are on our first row here. I'm going to add 11 beads, so that is 5 black, 1 green, 5 black, and then on this next row is where I will add our alien. And our alien head is approximately 2 beads wide, so I will just use it to sub out wherever I put it. I'll add 1 bead, alien head, 2 beads, or, you know, whatever. Also, I realized I did not specify this. I never use these as the middle bead because 2 reasons. One, they're more than 1 bead wide, so it would kind of distort the whole shape of the ornament cover and make it kind of look lopsided and funky. And number 2, I, again, don't want to be running string through the middle of this bead more than once, and the center beads all have string run through them more than once because they get used as anchor points. So there we go. That's the additional information. I am now going to add my first row. Just kidding, I got overexcited and did it all off camera, but you can see I just did the same thing here with the alien heads that I did with the little hands. It's 5 beads, center bead, 2 beads, alien head, 1 bead, and then back up through the point. So really, I'm going over this a whole bunch of different times, but it is the same concept. You just figure out how many beads wide is the bead that you're using, and then you replace out that many beads with your specialty bead. Okay, I'm going to finish off this row of 11, and then we will stick it onto our actual ornament and finish off the ornament. All right, so we are done with that row. We've already run it up through and out the corner. It is time to start putting it on our ornament. Now, what you can do if you are struggling with keeping it on the ornament while you are adding this next row, because this next row is going to be 9 beads, right? We're going down. You can add the first like 3 or 4 corners and then put it on the ornament and tighten it out and add that last corner to finish it off and hold it in place, if that is easier for you. I do it both ways. I don't know that one is necessarily easier than the other, but I am letting you know that that is an option if you find yourself getting stuck or dropping the ornament a lot. So here's kind of how it sits initially. And we are just going to flip it over, hold that, and like we did with our last ornament, kind of hold on to everything as best we can with one hand to keep it in place while we add the next rows. So this is going to be 9 beads, and I'm not adding any more specialty beads because now we're getting towards the bottom of the ornament. But it'll be 9 beads between each green, and then the next row will be 7, etc., etc. So I will be right back when I finish this row. All right, so we've got that row of 9 done, and it is kind of precariously sitting on that ball there, so I'm still holding it as much as I can. And now we're going to do another row of 7. We're going to connect the black points with 7 beads between each. So it's going to be 3 black, 1 green, 3 black, and we are already coming out of a point. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got our row of 7 on there, and like with the last one, if you want to end off here, you can. This is going to be removable still. It's stretchy enough to be removable and put back onable. I don't think it looks as good personally. I like adding another row or 2 and just having it be like a permanent ornament thing. So for the next row, you got it. It's going to be 5 beads. So 2 green, 1 black, 2 green in between each of the points. Okay, that's what it looks like with that row of 5 on. And I'm going to do one more row, and I'm just going to connect the black beads with 3 beads, and I'll do, you know what, actually, I bet it would look cool if I did just 1 bead. So I'm actually just going to add 1 green bead in between each of the black points and cinch it together into a little star shape. Won't that be nice? I'm trying a new thing on camera, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll go good. Shboop. 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 And last one. Shboop. There we go. That does it. That tied them together. Let's see what it looks like. Ooh, that does look good. Yeah, so if you want it to look like a little star, at the end, you just add 1 bead in between each of the points. If you don't want it to look like a star and you want it to be a little more open, you add 3 beads between each of the points. Haha. And now we just tie it off same way we tied off the last one. And there you go. That's how you do a rave Christmas ornament with like extra special little beads on it. You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. That is all I got for you today. If you do end up using this tutorial and making your own Kandi Christmas ornaments, please tag me, please show me. I would love to see what you all make. Like I said before, I do work for Basehead Beads, so that is where I got my specialty beads from. I will put a link to them down in the comment section, or in the description, not the comment section. Hello, this is YouTube. I'll put a link to them in the description below. I don't get any specific kickback if you use that link. Like, I don't get any percentage from that because I just work for them. But there is a little discount if you want to use that link. Once again, I do really appreciate everyone's patience with me not putting up tutorials for the last couple of months. It has been wild around here, but I will do my best to do some more tutorials on a more regular schedule for 2024. Look, it's a New Year's resolution. Yay! Thank you times 1 million, billion, trillion, quadrillion to my patrons who every month I expect everybody to just like cancel their subscription and say see you later, and they don't, and that is a never-ending source of like amazement and delight for me. So if you would like to subscribe to the Patreon, patrons do get like behind the scenes stuff. I put up Kandi patterns there when I make them. I also have polls there where patrons can vote on like what the next tutorials will be. You can message me directly, ask for help with Kandi stuff. Like I tried to make it as cool as I possibly could without also putting too much in there that will just like drain me and make me unable to make tutorials in Kandi and stuff. So anyway, as you can see, I'm talking for a really long time because I missed making these, and I'm happy to be back here with you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.